Hi, my name is Nicole and welcome back to another yoga flow. Today is the continuation of the Yamas Niyamas series, and today we are going in with Asteya, which is non-stealing. When we think of non-stealing, we can think about possessions, we can think about time, but when it comes to non-stealing, I'd like the idea of non-stealing for today's purposes to be based off of last week's, which was contentment. So last week we talked about contentment, and this week we're talking about non-stealing. What can happen is if we live our life in fear or lies or illusions, then we ourselves may look to external sources or outwards from self to steal what is not ours or hope for something that is not ours. So what do I mean by that? When we observe life of others and want their exact life for ourselves because we feel we lack in some way. Social media has a wonderful job, or does a wonderful job of doing that, which is sarcasm. And it's easy to play the comparison game. When we live our life in our truth and aligned with our passion, we don't desire anything else that anyone else has, because we know and understand that what's ours is ours and cannot be someone else's because it is within us. So that's going to be the theme of today's flow. Asteya non-stealing. This is a yin flow. So props for today can include a pillow and can also include some blocks or a pillow or blanket if you would also wish. And without further ado, we are going to start with our backs laying on the mat. You can absolutely place a pillow under your head if you would like, and we will get started. And let's begin. So for the purposes of today's flow, I am going to choose a pillow under my head for any positions that require me to be on my mat, just because I have a little pain in my neck, and this I find is really alleviating for it. So what we're going to do is start with our feet on the mat. On your next exhale, press the feet upwards, bring the knees to the chest, bring the hands to hold. And as you're here, you're just going to inhale to push the knees outwards with the hands and exhale to bring them in. Good. Keep those movements nice and slow. We're going to be in each of these postures for about a minute. So feel free to take your time. Coming back to the theme of non-stealing, you can think of non-stealing as comparison. So where in your life do you feel you play the comparison game, wish for other people's lives or things without fully knowing anything about their lives? And what could you do to live your life with more integrity, aligned with what it is that you want in this life? So what do you want? Not what you think you should have is the big question here, okay? A couple more rounds. There's not going to be as much talking today in this flow aside from that little, intention set up. So I will leave you for just a couple moments to continue in this posture. Again, really focusing on the movements with the breath. So inhaling as we push, exhaling as we Very good. Let's exhale, plant the feet on the width of the mat. And again, if you'd like a pillow under your head or bolster, whichever the case, you're going to bring your arms out to the side in 90-degree angles, making L shapes. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, drop the legs over to the right-hand side as you look over your left shoulder. If you'd like to place a block under the knees, if the knees do not touch the floor, that's totally fine. Otherwise, we're just going to hold here. Allowing the body to get used to the pose. Noticing any sensations that may come up and arise in the body, creating a really beautiful connection of how we feel and understanding it. Inhale, come up. Bring those knees right back to where they were previous. Let's bring the feet to touch. You can use the hands, bring them to the knees or to the legs. And on your next inhale, we're going to guide those legs open so the soles of the feet are touching and the knees are outwards towards the opposite sides of the mat. Again, if you'd like here, you can place some blocks under the knees, and once your legs are here, hands can come up overhead or under the legs as we hold here in this bound angle. Breathe in here. And pressing our backs into the mats and allowing the body to sink further and deeper into the mat. Very good. Let's bring the hands back to the thighs. On your next inhale, using the hands to guide the knees open, placing the feet to opposite sides of the mat. Hands come up back to that L shape, right in line with the shoulders. And as we exhale, we're going to drop the legs over to the left side. Looking over at the right shoulder. Very good. We'll now inhale, guide the knees right back up onto the mat. Extend the left leg down towards the bottom of the mat. Right knee is going to come into chest. Hands around this right knee. Bring it in, hold here. Very good. Exhale, release. Bring the legs about mat width distance apart. Hands will come out to either side, straight. Unless you're like me and you have a wall, and as straight as you can. Coming into pentacle. Very good. Bring that right knee in so it's in line with the hip. Left knee comes in to the chest on the exhale. Hands wrap around, pulling it as close to the chest as we can, holding here. Very good. Inhale to release. Bringing both legs back to where they were originally. Last pose for today. On the next exhale, you are going to lift the legs, grabbing hold of your feet, of your pant legs, as you drag or guide the knees towards the armpits, coming into happy baby. Very good. Exhale to release. Let's come into our corpse pose. Allowing the feet to come all the way down towards the bottom of the mat. Palms frame the hips and they face upwards towards the sky. If you'd like to use any pillows or bolsters to support you in this final resting pose, then I'll encourage you to grab them. Do that now. If you want a little more low back support, you could use a bolster, or you can also bring the feet to the width of the mat and allow the knees to simply fall into each other. Now as we come into this Shavasana, this corpse pose, I'll invite you to gently close the eyes and invite relaxation into the body, allowing it to release any tension that's being willingly held onto. So if the palms are clenched, we're opening them. We're relaxing the jaw and the eyes. And in the final moments of today's practice, I'll invite you to think back onto the art of non-stealing and what non-stealing would look like for you. Are there any areas of your life currently where you think you could be stealing or wishing that you had something of someone else's, whether that be their life, their job? And just acknowledge that that's where you are currently. Once you find it, I'll invite you to instead focus on what you would like to create for yourself that is in direct line with your own desires. I'll allow you to ponder this just for a couple moments, and then I'll let you know when it's time to come up. Gently begin to wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, inviting consciousness back to the body. As you feel ready, you may invite in maybe a gentle smile just to move the mouth a little bit, and gently flutter the eyes open when you are ready. We will finish today's practice as you wish to come up and sit in any position that's comfortable for you, and when ready, we will finish by inhaling, lifting hands up all the way overhead, and imagining that as we bring palms to close, we hold everything that we've created for ourselves, realized for ourselves, and hoped for ourselves. As palms touch, we exhale all that energy down to our heart center, where it will never leave as we bow forward. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for another practice. It was my pleasure to flow with you once more, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye.